on here from JS Associates for a cost of $660,315. I've noticed that the date on here is from May 24th, 2010. Do you guys have a updated cost of what this is, or are these solid numbers you're going by? And if it goes over this with all the with the way fuel prices are right now, I know that blacktop, the binder coat and top coat are going to be more than I believe you have them for $95 for one and $100 a ton for that. And if it goes over the set amount, the estimate that you guys had received, who's picking that up? That's the second question. Third question, and if we're doing this for University Park, is there any kind of binding agreement the University Park has agreed to pay back the school district if any developments or anything become on Will Center Road? If you guys want to get back to me on that, that's fine. I don't want to hold up your meeting.
We will get back to you on that, Mr. Stockton, and as you know, those numbers are not concrete as of yet. Of course, we are going out to bid to try to get the realistic numbers. We do know the majority of those dollars are held in escrow, so depending on how those numbers come out, we will then be able to have a discussion as to how we will fund it or not fund it.
Okay.
But we will get back to you with that information later. Either have Dr. Rogers or Bob give you a call with that information.
Okay.
He left his information too.
He left his email. Was email okay? Yeah. Get back to you via email.
Well, we know how to get a hold of you. But we'll set up a meeting for you to come into if you would like to, or we can do a phone conference.
Well, and the other thing that was totally shocking, I was shocked a little bit, was that I was at a finance meeting about a month ago, and the board had stated then they had the village presidents from Monee was there, I was there, the village president from Crete was there, and there was a whole discussion about going out for bonds and stuff like that. So I mean, if the school is hurting that bad, which I know with the state thing, everybody's getting behind with the payments from the state. I mean, I just think it's a wrong time to be dipping into the taxpayers, the general fund or whatever to pay for a road.
Well, let me say this right away to clear this up for the public's sake. The money that is being used is actually from the original money to build the school itself. You do, by law, have to provide access roads into a public building when you build one. And there were some negotiations between the different villages, not just University Park. There were some things that we had to sort of have either concessions around or agreements around, even with Monee, in order to build the building in Monee. Those we can talk about in some detail when we have that conversation. Okay. But the money was put in escrow for the road. What the delay has been, why the road wasn't immediately finished as soon as the building was finished, is because of the fact of BP Amoco, certain things about if we dug up the road, there was gas pipes, I think, underneath the road.
I've attended the meetings, and then it was the Forest Preserve.
Then it was the Forest Preserve.
The county, and I realized all the hoops that had to be jumped through and stuff like that. But along with there was also a letter, I believe, from Mr. Gross in there stating that that there was like 500 and change in an escrow account, but then that $99,000 would be used out of a general fund.
Well, we don't know until we actually get the bids in. So tonight is just really a fact of informing the board what we want to do, and that we do want to go out to bid. We're not spending any money tonight. We're only getting permission to bid the project. I think if the project comes in and it's going to cost the district some dollars, the board then will have to make a decision. Are they going to spend any more money beyond what's already in escrow? But again, the money that is going to be used for the road was the money that was set aside from the original construction project, no more, no less. And the other issue that I think that that the public and everyone needs to understand is the district is in favor of finishing that road for the safety of the kids. The issue, more so than anything else, is the fact that if there's a fire at that building, we have to get emergency response vehicles down that road as quick as possible. And if there's a flood or a snowstorm or a major rain, torrent downspill of water, and if trucks are trying to go through gravel, we're going to have a tough time, and seconds or minutes could cost lives if they can't get down that road fast enough. So whether or not anyone agrees of who should have paid for the road, we as the board, I'm not going to speak for the board, I feel the board made the decision that the safety of these children are more important than any arguments that may be going on, in the community, and we need to pay and pave that road for the safety of our kids.
Oh, I mean, and trust me, I want every child to be safe. I don't want to make it sound like I'm...
Right. Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Are there any other public comments? If it's okay with the board, I'd like to move forward and call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mrs. Coletti?
Here.
Mrs. Hall? Mr. Heisel?
Here.
Mr. Rose? Here. Secretary here, President?
Here. Can we stand for the pledge of allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to turn over to Dr. Rogers for a Raleigh District update.
Well, first of all, good evening to our board, our administration, and to the members in the audience. Glad that you were able to come out in such adverse and inclement conditions. Our board has asked me this year to bring to the forefront at every board meeting either a set of students or staff or a combination of both of some good project or good deed or some sort of recognition that they have received, from other places, and bring that to the attention of the board in terms of good news, and for a chance for the board to interact with our staff or our students in complimenting them for the work that they've done in our district. And so this month is no different. We have just concluded the holiday season, and with the times as tough as they are, both economically, regionally, and nationally, I was very proud of our district this year especially. I've always been proud of the work that our staff does in trying to meet the needs of our students and our families, but even more proud this year seeing the economic difficulties that we're all under, and yet our staff still chooses to give. And so with that said, there's two entities tonight that we would like to recognize. One is our pupil personnel / student safety department, and also Talala School is here tonight to talk about a grant program that they have. But the first group that we would like to bring up is our pupil personnel services, and I'm going to ask Chris Putlak and George Elrod to present to us what has happened over the holidays and to bring forth that staff that worked on these many projects.
Actually, every year since I've been here, we have organized some kind of holiday drive in some way, shape, or form. And like Dr. Rogers said, this year was no different. But I did want to make a special tribute to the social work department, my secretary, and Monee Hoffman, who is the homeless liaison, who really, they lead the charge at every building. Throughout all of the buildings this year, not only were there food drives, hat and mitten drives, toy drives, but also a couple years ago, we started this fundraiser called Dollars for Denim, because our teachers do love to wear jeans to work, and they will pay to do it. And so every building, the social workers collaborate with the building administrators, and they set a rule per se to follow, and the teachers do pay to wear denim during the month of December as agreed upon. And so this year, the money that was raised was split evenly. We have three food pantries that do provide some wonderful services to our families, Crete, Monee, and then Alicia's house. And each food pantry was donated just shy of $1,000. And that was all money that was raised from our faculty. And so, what else did I miss, gals and gentlemen? Can't think of anything. That was it. Oh, you're right. We also had the giving tree that was set inside Linnae's, the Welcoming Center at Central Office, and administrators and different staff members did select names that were presented and nominated from the social workers coming from families that were in really significant need at this time. And so we were able to collect gifts and donate to, I believe it was, Rachel, you would know this. How many? 15 to 20 families? Okay. So all of those gifts were then delivered by the social workers to the homes for the families. And then also we have been in collaboration with Infinitec, which is part of the United Cerebral Palsy Association. We are a member district of that organization, and every year they also donate gifts to kids that are identified as special needs. Again, those children are nominated through the social workers, again, through families that we know are in need. And this year was absolutely overwhelming. Actually, it was a very humbling experience for my son, because my son had to pick up the gifts for me. And there were 53 children that were nominated by the social worker, and all of those children were presented with just overwhelming bags filled with gifts. And those were all private donations. So if anybody likes to do that during the holidays, let me know, and I will give you the name of the person who organizes that, because those are all just private individuals who want a cause and want to donate to kids. So I do want to recognize everybody. From the high school, there's
Chris,
Michelle Gallardo. Yes?
Before you do that, I want to say this about that. I think it's the same sort of phase of giving about those families and bags of toys and clothes and everything. I was actually extremely impressed with the people in our community, because Chris does know some of the names, and they don't want to be recognized. Their, recognition is private. But when you would see what they gave. I'm talking about bags of brand new clothes, gym shoes, brand new. And I'm not talking about, Keds or, Walmart things. I'm talking about some pretty expensive items. Was it a church or just a group of ladies that did those bears?
There was a church that contacted Linnae, and they, through their women's club, they had sewn, how many? 60. And they were critters. They were little stuffed bears. They were all sewn and child safe, nothing, no buttons or anything that could be pulled off. And so all of the kids that we had identified either through Infinitec or through our giving tree, along with their gift, they also received a caring critter.
And it was beautiful, too. Again, the craftsmanship was just outstanding. So again, when you saw the outpouring of what people were still willing to do, again, in the times that we're in, it was sort of an overwhelming feeling that it made you feel good about the world we live in, and that there's still people who really do care and recognize that there are needs in the world and are willing to try to meet those needs. So
It
with
was a
that
little
said-
overwhelming for anybody who
Yes.
walked into my office.
Yeah.
It's a very humbling experience.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
We had to move everything into the superintendent's conference room because there was so much.
Right.
So it was great. It really was. So glad that we were able to help out a lot of families and a lot of kids.
And
From
then-
every level.
Right.
From absolutely every level.
And the board has been very vocal about the idea of, they know we can't be everything to everybody, but at the same time, there are, some board members in particular that really do like the idea of service to the community as much as we can give. The whole board feels that way, but there's some that really have a passion about it, and so I'm just glad. That's one of the reasons why I wanted the board to understand what the district does do, and that we do try to help our families, especially around critical times of the year. So with that said, what we would like for you to do, Chris, is to bring your staff up, all of them, let us know them by name. We'd like to take a photo. We do have a little something we would like to give them. I'll probably just give it to you, and you could give it to them. And so if you could do that, we'd...
Superintendent Rogers, if you would,
Oh, yes.
just a moment, I'd like to add 2 cents. First of all, service is a very noble venture. And this group that we're speaking about today have served and braved the cold up until our last food pantry that we moved into the 6th grade center. The Board of Education and its wisdom and its need to provide service to the community sanctioned, going back before the beginning of the school year, the first 2 food distribution processes through the Northern Illinois Food Pantry that, and I'd like to recognize all of the PPS staff for their involvement and getting involved, but the person that I'd like to really, who I've come to know, who we brought to the district under a homeless grant, is our homeless liaison, Monee Hoffman. She has done an incredible job of coming in, not knowing the terrain, not knowing anything about our system, and because of her compassion and her work ethic, along with all these other hardworking individuals, coordinated a yeoman's effort to feed several hundred of our clients throughout the area that we service and beyond. And so I'd like to really thank them because they have gone way beyond what was expected of them. They were not in it to be recognized. They were in it because they serve, not only as a part of their job, but because it's part of their character. And so I wanted to recognize them, and I want to recognize Chris as well, because Chris is a doer, and she got in and rolled up her sleeves right with them and went out and braved the cold and did distributions and what have you. The only thing I did was to approve and get it sanctioned by the board that Northern Illinois Food Pantry could come in and do the distribution. As a result of that, and I'd like to also to recognize the food service department and Beth Proctor. She's gotten very much involved in that process. We've secured facilities without any problems, so our next 2 to 3, we've extended out to May now, unbeknownst to the board, that we're going to run these up until at least May, because we have really serviced, and probably the most of them have been kids. When I've gone and looked, there were 300 kids serviced the distribution before last. And we have volunteers that come out and volunteer their time, and it's been sometimes a 3 to 5 hour process. It's supposed to be a 2.5 hour process. Well, it's taken longer than that, because when you put in the time for putting it together and then tearing it down again, there's a lot of work that goes into that. So I want to recognize each and every one of them, and I'd like you to stand before you come up here so that we can give you a big round of applause for your service to this community.
Come on, let's stand.
Stand. Now he may come forward and have the picture taken.
Go ahead, Chris, call the
Okay,
name.
from the high school, well, Maggie's coming up first. From MEC, Maggie Dunn. And then we have Ashley Chismark from the high school, and Liz Barnes from Monee, Nicole Reiser, Balmoral, Michelle Gallardo, high school, Nicole Persick, Crete, my right and left arm, Rachel Deck, from CSK and Talala, Les Huff, middle school, Jason Hill, and then Lene Hoffman as our homeless liaison. And the only one who's missing today is Jen Cooper from the 6th grade center. So
right.
they are great. They are a department that is truly second to none. I've been told that many a times, and I am very grateful for all of them because they really do go above and beyond every day. So thank you.
Allow the board members to have an individual say, but I think I'm going to start with Ms. Hall, unless you
You know, I'm smiling outside on the inside. This is good, something that's really dear to my heart. I remember when this was just an idea that Renee had, and I just want to thank you so much. She has such a passion for people, and it's contagious, as you can see. It started out with just her and the idea, and look at all of you that have come on board, and I really want to say thank you so much on behalf of myself and the families that you serve. Thank you.
Ms. Gillette.
Just second that. Thank you.
I just like to say thank you on behalf of all the families that you serve, and the kids especially, because sometimes we kind of overlook, in the season and stuff like that, the giving part of it. And, that's something that I really feel about stuff that things that you don't necessarily have to do and stuff that you don't have to do, so thank you very much.
Just thank you for doing a great job and giving real meaning to the season.
Stockton.
Stockton.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, everyone, and I double what everybody else has said so far.
Yeah.
No, you got the
Well, I heard a lot about what you guys did last month from Fort Member Hall, and of course, any community members who actually come out and put the hands to the fire. That's awesome. Yesterday, I was listening to the news, and we talked about service during the Martin Luther King holiday, and it was just impressive to me that we have moved from just sitting back, sitting home, but to realize the importance and the significance of serving each other. So thank you so much for your efforts and all of your work.
And I just want to say thank you. If it was not for you being willing to give, giving could not occur, especially within this district. So I'd like to say thank you for taking time out to put forth that effort. And believe me, it does not go unnoticed. So we do appreciate it. Thank you.
Right. We'd like for you to come up on the stage real quick because we always like to take a photo. And so...
You're killing them. I'm telling you,
yeah.
you're just killing them.
Yeah. Melissa is going to direct us, and the board, in fact, if you could just stay in a straight line like you were, but facing the audience, and I'm going to ask the board if you don't mind getting behind our staff, and we'll take a very quick picture.
I used to say your name and stop telling me how you going to say that.
Yeah, you have to peek between the heads. Okay. Our next recognition is Talala School, but before I bring the principal up, I was going to ask Beth Proctor to come up with Mr. Harrison. Mr. Neal. There's so many. Lyle has, really 2 or 3 first names, trying to get them all straight. But Lyle and Beth, if they would come to the mic together. I don't know if you had anything planned, but I certainly wanted Beth to say a little bit of something too with Lyle, but because I look at the program as sort of jointly owned by Food Service and Talala Elementary together. So if you would give the board sort of an introduction of even what this grant is all about, I would appreciate it.
I came actually to hear Lyle, so.
Oh, okay. But I'm sure that you can say something,
I
so
can
go
say
ahead.
something.
I'm sure.
Well, I have a lot to say, and I also have some friends with me to help me say a lot of things. But Beth was instrumental in helping us get this organized, and also with some projects that we're going to do after the fact. So I'll go ahead and let you just share your bits of wisdom, and I'll get my friends up here.
Well, Lyle came to me last year and was interested in doing a food and vegetable grant at Talala, which would be a grant where he would offer a snack in the middle of the day or the morning to children in the classroom of fresh fruits and vegetables. His staff has really run with the whole thing. My staff at Talala, Marge Hayhurst and Chris Schultz, have helped out by coming in early and working with his staff to prepare all of the fruits and vegetables. And we had an extra refrigeration unit over there that we allowed him full access to. And I know he's going to be talking about that. After this, the programs that we're discussing right now is the possibility of starting school gardens, specifically at Talala as a pilot
You help you
project.
tonight, huh?
A school garden, a community garden. We would like to see where that can lead us. I'd love to start growing seedlings in schools, incorporating it into science curriculums. I've talked to Aaron DiBartola at CSK about this as well. And the hope is that we can incorporate the educational and the nutritional process together, as well as helping our community benefit from having more fruits and vegetables at home and increasing volunteerism.
See, we ought to invite you more often.
Yeah.
We're getting sort of our pre-dinner tonight.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of the point. We'd have your attention at least for a few minutes.
Okay.
Well, last spring we had taken the opportunity to apply for the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Grant, which does come from the National School Lunch Program. And one of the factors is, of course, the number of students you have who receive free and reduced lunch. And of course, there's a lot of other factors as well. But the primary purpose of it is to introduce, or not necessarily introduce, but help our students have opportunities to have servings of fresh fruits and vegetables sometime other than when mom says eat your green beans at dinner and you don't want to do it, so you sit there for an hour and a half, while they get cold. So we wanted to have it be a little more positive experience. And so when we were informed that we had the grant, the terms of the grant are that we provide fresh fruits and vegetables to every student and staff member in the school 2 days a week, and that, of course, is provided free of charge. And we also have, there was also money set aside for helping compensate the people who are preparing the fruits and vegetables, because they don't always come to you ready to eat. Can't just hand a kid a cucumber to gnaw on, so we have to, be able to get them set apart. And so we really wanted to improve the diets of our students and really try to introduce them to some things maybe they haven't had the opportunity to try before. And so as the year goes on, we're trying some different things and giving them some different opportunities. And it's interesting what some of the kids are asking for. I think I had one ask me for guavas the other day, and I'm thinking I've never even had guavas, so maybe we ought to look for that. But I did want to recognize a couple people before we get started. I know we've already passed out some of the fruit and vegetables, and I see some of you eating. So we do have a number of people in our school who make this program tick. And I don't want to say the biggest one, because she certainly isn't the biggest one, but she is the most important one in this mix, and that's Terry Lyons, who is one of our secretaries, but is also the one in charge of absolutely everything having to do with the grant. She orders the fruits and vegetables. She does the monthly claim. She helps me write the announcements that we read to the students when we're going to have these things, and basically does everything else that goes along with the grant, and doesn't complain all that much about it. So I wanted to thank Terry for her work. We also want to thank our two food service ladies, which I believe Mrs. Proctor had recognized. That's March Hayhurst and Chris Schultz, that put it all together in the nice bags and dipped the sauces out for us and things like that. So we thank them. And also our custodian, Mr. Paul Joran, for all the, dirty work that has to be done when we're done with this, and the little surprises that we sometimes find in the corner a couple days later. So he takes care of all that for us. So I have invited some of our friends here to help us talk about the program a little bit. So I'm going to start with Joyce, and she's got a little something she's going to tell us about the program and about what she'd like to see.
I like the fruit and vegetable program because vegetables have vitamins that help us get energy for the rest of the day. It can also be a good way for students to experience fruit and vegetables that they never heard of or they have heard of but never tasted it. I also like the fruit and vegetable program because I like some of the food the school gives out. If I could choose some of the foods we should have more in our school are grapefruit, cantaloupe, kiwi, and watermelon. I chose grapefruit and cantaloupe because I never tasted them and would like to try them. I chose kiwi and watermelon because I really like those fruits. Tonight we have brought you some fruits and vegetables for you to try. We would like to tell you a little about them while they are being passed out to you. Please give them a try and don't be shy.
Well, the first one up is a friend who couldn't make it tonight. I believe the weather kind of put a damper on things. So he was going to talk to us about our cucumbers. And every time we do this, we do have some fun facts that we give our students over the announcements. And so a couple of things about cucumbers. Did you know that cucumbers are a member of the gourd family? They're related to melons, squash, and pumpkins. Cucumbers are believed to have originated in India over 3,000 years ago. Cucumbers are proven to help lower blood pressure, and a serving of cucumbers has only 13 calories. So we hope you enjoy your cucumbers because we're serving up healthy eating from Talala School.
Our next treat for you is something familiar, bananas. Did you know that a study of 200 students in the school showed that they were helped through a test by eating bananas at breakfast, a break, and at lunch to help boost their brain power? Research has shown that bananas were a great source of potassium and help make people more alert. So we hope you enjoy your bananas because we're serving up healthy eating from Talala School.
Mr. Neal, what was his name?
I'm sorry, that was Quentin McToy.
Quentin, okay.
And now Heidi Almanza is going to talk to us about our pineapples.
The last treat we have for you tonight is pineapples. Pineapples started in South America. 1/3 of all pineapples in the world now come from Hawaii. Pineapples contain a lot of vitamins which will protect us against diseases. They also help prevent diseases of the eyes. It takes about 3 pineapples to make 1 can of slices. Pineapples used to be so rare that they were called the fruit of kings. Now you can live like a king while you enjoy your pineapples because we are serving up healthy eating from Talala School.
And what was her name again?
That was Heidi.
Heidi. Okay, thank you.
And we have Jemiah, who's going to tell us a little something.
I believe that the fruits and vegetable program is good because they are packed with vitamins and minerals. They can make you healthy and protect your body from different diseases.
And Jemiah is only in first grade, am I right?
He is in first grade,
Okay.
and we have a kindergarten friend, Darshan, who's going to tell us a little something.
All right.
I like the way fruits and vegetables make me feel. They make me strong and help me grow. They taste yummy too.
Okay.
I want to thank all my friends for coming tonight. They've given up a lot of TV watching time and video game playing time to be here, so I appreciate that. As Beth talked about a little while ago, we're also exploring setting up a school garden at Talala School. We have a lot of logistics to work out, but the whole idea would be once this grant ends to continue the program on our own by raising some of our own fruits and vegetables to be consumed at the school, to be used in the food service, and so on. So we're hopeful that that program will go forward, and we're going to be looking to a lot of people, including you guys, for some support in that project, I'm sure, as we go along. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to feed you a little bit of something healthy, and we didn't do anything weird. We were good to you. So we thank you very much, and I want to thank my friends for coming tonight.
Very well done. I just want to say to Joyce, Quentin, Heidi, Jemiah, and Darshan, job well done. We're very, very proud of you and the courage that you had, not only to write about the fruits and vegetables, but to get up in front of a bunch of people who you don't know and speak so articulate about your fruit or your vegetable. So we're very proud of the school. We thank the parents who brought your children out tonight. And after the board members speak, again, we would like for the students to come up and take a picture with the board real quick. But I'm going to turn it over to President Sevier.
I think it's a great program. This is really interesting, and I'm excited to see about your plans for your garden in the future.
Well, first I want to say thank you because I ran out of bananas earlier and I could make my banana strawberry smoothie. Now I can do that when I get home because it's not too late. But thanks again for everybody that's involved with this program, and I'm just excited about seeing our young people come up here and show us what they're learning and things that they can apply to real life. So thank you all again.
Excuse me, thanks for coming. And I think it's amazing that you young people all like fruits and vegetables, because I know a lot of people my age that can't stand them. So congratulations.
Just simply, the slogan says, milk does the body good, fruit does the body good, and you guys are phenomenal, as Mr. Heiser said, in taking advantage of the opportunity now to embrace fruit, because when you do get older, it's kind of like crappy. But thank God for you now that you appreciate fruit. Truly, it's good. And the program is phenomenal. They've heard me say it here before that I really like to see us doing things that are out of the box, not usual, and this is an unusual program, maybe not necessarily in the community, but what you guys are doing at Talala is awesome. Thank you.
I'm with Mrs. Sanders. Thank you, and this is a very wonderful program. And I'm really surprised you kids really like fruits as much as you do. Good job.
Mr. Rose. Thank you very much for enjoying the fruit and all that, and vegetables. I know I've acquired a taste with it recently because my doctor told me I have to eat more anyways. It helps with my diet and stuff like that. I hope we all enjoy it too. So thank you very much.
And I would just like to say thank you very much, especially since you brought my favorite fruit, pineapple. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. But so you can bet I will be around for a while to try to pick up some more food. You're doing a great job over there, so do look for me to be there. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Now, Mr. Neal, could you bring your students up here real quick? And Melissa, again, Miss Berta will sort of direct you. We want you in the picture too, Mr. Neal. Terry, you're the only staff member here tonight, right? Why don't you come on up and be in the picture, unless you're going to just take a picture. It's up to you. But again, if the board members wouldn't mind getting up for just a minute and take this last photo, we'd appreciate it. I'm good, too.
Okay, at this point in time, we do have a need for a closed session. So I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session to discuss litigation and personnel.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Monee, second by Mr. Heisel. We are in closed. We will be back shortly. If you'd like to stay or want to get your kids home, let them get started on their homework. We understand.
John said that if I could, I should fill decisions like board decisions.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
They're in the folder. Dave hasn't signed it.
Dave hasn't signed it?
Yes,
Well, I'll go grab it out of there. Mary, are you, you've got the recorder?
Got it.
You wanted to get 3 signed copies.
3
If that's
signed
possible, yeah.
He must have it with him.
Just one? You wanted to give one to the school district, one to the party, and one to the
What?
Can we
Okay.
give them copies of it?
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Okay. All right.
That's the way it's gonna be.
Dave must have the folder with him.
Okay.
Wasn't that quick?
That wasn't even a minute.
We didn't even argue over you. You're not even thought
All right. You can take that in two ways.
of. Take it in most possible. Don't forget that, Mary. On your notes.
Okay, let's just not.
No, I just keep getting good news from the doctors. Oh, I got this triple blood thing, and one of them is a chronic form of leukemia. And the last time I was in, he said that's disappeared. And I'm thinking, it doesn't disappear. That doesn't, But I'll take that
Yeah.
news.
Oh.
I still got the other two.
You did sign it?
They don't mean it.
You know what? Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Good night, everyone.
You too, Ray.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
Ray.
Enjoy your fruits and vegetables.
part I wasn't here for.
On their website?
On our website. Go to
Okay, I can eat my pineapple and get healthy now.
Eat my cucumbers.
Hey, now how much of this bond stuff can we put into
Ray?
one motion?
You want it now, or you?
What, you gonna give him a
And then
check
will
now?
Can Missy send me copies?
Yes.
Just if you could just tell her to email it to me.
Food service prepare these? Food service prepared these, right? Not the kids.
Really here?
Yes.
You gotta look for that
They should start a garden here with the special ed kids could tend to, like as part of their vocational thing. They got so much room.
You're right about that, and what didn't come out tonight. We used to have a community garden. That's what they're thinking about doing, is actually letting community members actually come and help.
that garden, Monee?
I said
Yeah.
they could do in here. for the special ed kids to tend to it with part of their vocational, like their life skills and stuff classes. They
You
have
know
so
what?
much property.
And if they want to do a
All
garden,
three, I think, and I've got one.
there's a bench over at the 6th grade center that was from the class of '89. A good friend of mine got it, had repaired and fixed. It's been sitting over there since some clown broke it. And I've talked to Daniel about 25 times.
Really?
So if we can get somebody to put a garden before I really blow my stack. We can make
grow
Linda
tomatoes.
happy. Let's adjourn.
Policy up.
What? Okay.
What else is left? There's not much dessert.
Hey,
You know, thank you, Ray. That's for you.
okay, we passed the other one down to you.
Oh, you gave me that one.
I don't know. Good night, Ray.
Good night, Ray.
Moved.
Second.
Oh, okay, we're out of closed.
Did you move?
Tom moved. I second. Coletti second.
Yep.
All in favor? Anybody opposed?
Aye.
You never voted to go in.
Got a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Ivey, second by Ms. Sanders. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Wolf for donating a musical instrument to our Crete High School. We appreciate the donation. Also like to thank Walmart and Matson for donating some puzzle games and flashcards to Crete Elementary. And we received the two letters of thank you from the township of Monee and Crete Township Pantry for food that Crete needs. Okay, we have action reports, business. Have a motion for the approval to bid the FY12, FY14 transportation contract.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Heisel, seconded by Ms. Coletti. Mr. Gross.
Transportation contract that we're currently in with ABC Bus Company. We've been with them for the past 5 school years, and now we're at our time limit where we can no longer offer them another extension, so we would like to get out these services. This is obviously a very high dollar contract, and it's good to go out to bid. We can possibly get better price, better contract, and also meet all the legal requirements that the state imposes. We would open the bid at the end of this month, take the month to allow the vendors time to put together the figures, turn them in. George and I would go through those line by line and present a recommendation to the finance committee and the board in March. And at that time, send the award contract to the lowest bidder.
Any questions of the board? As this is only a request to go out to bid, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes. A motion to approve the independent contractor agreement.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Howard, second by Mr. Coletti. Mr. Gross.
This independent contract agreement is something that the board is doing new for this school year. A lot of our outside groups, a great example is this one with the Young Rembrandts, who provide art instruction services after school at elementary schools. And they've done this in the past. This is just more of a formality now that we have a formal agreement that kind of establishes the terms of the relationship between the school district and its outside group. Basically, just indicating insurance requirements that they need to have, indicating start date and end date of their services, and all of the details are set out in the agreement. So basically, we're just asking or recommending approval for this contract so that they can continue to provide the art instruction services after school.
Questions on the board? Just for the record, we want to state everything that we're going over under the business action reports has been reviewed by the finance committee in detail. We did go over all of these business issues that finance committee reviewed. So any board member that has a question for the
I just want to ask you a question on the bid process. I've asked it before, but I want to get some clarity. I heard you say we've dealt with ABC for 5 years, and so it was kind of like the next step is obviously to extend the bid. I mean, I was at some conference where, I mean, it's not just because we want to do it, it's mandatory that we.
Yeah, for transportation, you could do a 3-year contract and then offer up to 2 years of an extension. And then, so after a total of 5 years, then at that point, you can only do any extensions even if you want to. At that time, you do have to bid out the entire contract.
And it's a certain dollar figure that we have to do.
This would be, well, anything that's going to cost the district $25,000 more needs to go through the formal bid process.
Now, I just want to ask in general, I got word to you once before, when, just for any little project that we have around here, why is it not acceptable to just put the bids? I mean, I don't care if it's not just young boring grants, but I can't think of something specific right now. The smaller organizations or venues or small businesses, why aren't there, why don't we have like a marketing strategy or something, or open bid process for other people, somebody who might want to put, I don't know, signs or things. I guess I just want to make sure that all businesses know that they can, even though we may have 1 or 2 people that have been doing it historically, that they have access and capability to work with this business as well.
Well, for various services, especially any bid that we open up is posted on the website. All bids are posted on our website and also posted in the newspaper. So, there's different posting notice requirements that you need to meet. And then also, if any local businesses, what they can do is they can either contact us and we put them on a list, or they can go on the website and register on the website as a vendor. And when a bid opens up, they're automatically sent the information. So that way they're notified and they're aware that there is a bid opening. And then anybody that we know about, we can send information out to them to, ask them what they would like. And in general, businesses are just, watching the website, or if they see it in the newspaper, or if they're registered as a vendor, they'll get an alert that there's a bid open, and then they can, submit their bid.
And that's the same situation, the lowest bidder per se, or
Well, as long as you go through, you make sure that all the different requirements are met, and that you can determine that they're a responsible bidder that's going to be able to, provide the services responsibly. And if they meet all the criteria and are the lowest bidder, then they can be awarded the contract.
And one of the things we have to watch out for is we cannot ask anyone to submit a bid. Right. And we cannot appear to ask anyone to submit a bid, because as soon as you do that, you have a huge conflict of interest, and we're all liable.
Well, I think my question was not really related to the bid process, but related to the non-bid process for those under $25,000. I think, and I know that we do not have a policy for that or anything of that nature, but I think what she's trying to say is we want to give all businesses an opportunity to do business with the district, whereas it's a non-bid process. So maybe we need to think about developing some type of policy where we put a dollar in or any one particular vendor doing business in the district, which would open up doors for other vendors with the same type of services, so that we can spread it throughout the district, as opposed to limited to one person in the district. I think that's really what her question was about.
I think our general practice is that anytime you buy anything, especially if it's of any significant money, you do always get multiple quotes. You don't just take one price and then purchase the item. We'll look around, get multiple quotes, just like anybody would when you buy something that costs a lot of money. But as far as if we're going to impose any type of limits on how much we can spend at a vendor, or put some sort of procedure in place that governs purchases under $25,000, that's something that we can discuss at the finance committee.
Any other questions? All in favor of approval of the independent contractor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Can I have a motion to approve the bid for the construction of the project for Wilson Road?
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Heiden, seconded by Mr. Rose. Mr. Rose?
The district is ready to put this project out for bid. The cost estimate that we have, which is a little over 6 months old right now, but it's a reasonable estimate of what the project costs. Now, obviously, through the bid process, we'll get a refined cost estimate. But the current estimate is $660,000. And from the original bonds, there was an escrow account set up many years ago, and that account has $561,000 currently in it to pay for. All of our site and construction funds have been used up. The remaining balance was used for the Exchange Street project. And if you remember, at the end of last fiscal year, we closed out that fund and transferred $1.2 million into our operations and maintenance fund. So the only remaining funds to pay for a project like this, if it was needed to go over the escrow amount, would have to come out of our operating funds because there are no more site and construction funds for this.
Mm-hmm.
And the obvious one to use would be the operations and maintenance fund. So any amount over $560,000 would either come from that operating fund or other sources that could be discussed at the time.
But at this point in time, we don't have an actual number.
Gonna get the bids.
6 months old, so that's the reason for the request to go out to bid. And this is just for you to go out to bid and come back with the actual numbers.
Right, we'll bring that back to numbers, and at that time, you do not have to accept any of it, or you can pick one up and replace something.
Okay. Any other questions? Oh.
The estimate is from a construction firm that had kind of costed out the project and estimated. They have it should be in the word book, a line item, itemization of the construction.
Mm-hmm. It's here.
So on page
138.
138.
138. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Approval to purchase a special education bus. Can I have a motion to approve?
Moved.
A special education bus. Moved by Mr. Heisen.
Second.
Second by Ms. Colette. Ms. Gross.
Chris Putlick had approached me with an idea of purchasing a 12-passenger minibus and to use our stimulus funds to purchase this bus. And so I worked with her to put together a cost analysis on whether this would be a good idea or not. And when we looked into it, we're currently spending about $95,000 a year on outside contractual transportation to transport between 12 and 15 special ed students that require work programs that they participate in the community. And each day with their job coaches, they get transportation to these programs, to the program and back to school. So This bus would be used to transport those students to those programs, and job coaches would be with them at all times, actually driving the bus to the programs. And the actual cost to operate this bus per year would be about $25,000 a year to operate it. So the district would be saving $70,000 a year, and the bus would be purchased using grant funds that are available and already budgeted for this project. So it's our recommendation to purchase this bus. We're going to purchase it through the state bid contract. So there's no need to go out to public bid because that process was already taken care of by the state. We just basically purchased this through the state contract.
Any other questions?
So nobody else, no one else could have put a proposal together
Chris Pelletier originally, she budgeted $120,000 to purchase a special ed bus. And, you know, as stated in here, the actual cost of the initial cost of the bus is going to be about $50,000. So she's still actually going to have $70,000 to allocate to other projects that she can come up with now. Because this money has to be spent by the end of this school year. And so she feels that this would be a good expenditure for the grant, and obviously even saves the district money over time. Yeah, well, she didn't realize that.
My question was that she budgeted $120,000 for a bus.
Yeah, the original grant actually has $120,000 budget. That was just her estimate of what she thought the bus might cost. You know, after looking into it, it's actually only $50,000. So it's a negative grant.
And we can also use that grant money for the training of the teachers who have volunteered to drive the bus so that they can get their bus license. So we'll use a lot of those funds before we're done in connection with the bus.
Any other questions? As we are spending money, roll call.
Mrs. Coletti?
Aye.
Mrs. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Heisel?
Aye.
Mr. Rose?
Aye.
Mrs. Sanders?
Aye.
Secretary Allied President?
Aye. Okay, we now move to the curriculum reports, and I'd like to get a motion to approve the calendar for 2012-2013, which is calendar A. Is there a motion?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Coletti, second by Mr. Heisel. Ms. Hirsch.
In December of each year, we convene the calendar committee to plan the calendar.
One day.
Yes, it's been for the upcoming school year, so we were always about 3 months ahead of what we need to be in order to publish the calendar to our parents. So last year, we brought you 2 calendars. We brought you the calendar for this current school year, and then the calendar for the 2011-2012 school year, and both of those calendars were approved. So in an effort to stay a year ahead of the game, this year the calendar committee asked the staff to vote on the calendar for 2012-2013. It seems like an awful long time away, but so we have 2 calendar choices, and basically they were exactly the same except for one day. We established the start date as Monday, August 20th, and that was because we have planned an institute-based speaker for our staff, and in order to get the speaker that we wanted to, we had to secure the date 2 years in advance, almost 2 years in advance, and we had that date as, that date dictated our start date. So as we went through to establish the calendar, we're back to our regular Friday being the last day of school before our winter break. And then the only difference here is whether or not our spring break begins on Saturday or we have Good Friday off the day before, because Good Friday is no longer a state-recognized holiday. So we have the option to put that in. So the difference is whether spring break includes Good Friday or doesn't include Good Friday. And we put the vote out right before winter break for our staff. And you can see from the results that calendar A had the most votes, and that was the one where Good Friday would be a holiday. So we're recommending that the board approve calendar.
Any questions on the board?
I have a question for the curiosity about this year with the going to Christmas break in the middle of the week. What was the feedback on that?
I've talked to a few teachers. I haven't gotten as much feedback yet as I would like, but the few that I did talk to, I was kind of surprised actually by this. They loved coming back to a 2-day week. And I thought that that people would not like that. They would have thought that was kind of odd. But the reason, and I understand this now, is that when we come back on a Monday, the students, we hit the ground running. We've got a 5-day week plan, and they walk in the building, and right away we're back into the swing of things. The 2-day week allowed them, I guess it took a little pressure off, and it allowed them to kind of be able to set some time aside to review procedures and routines with students, and they didn't, this is what they told me, they didn't feel the pressure to have to like jump in full steam ahead on the first day, which I thought was an interesting perspective. I do want to get more feedback from more teachers on that, but just the few that I talked to, their perspective on it was different from what I had anticipated. Yes, this puts us back in the regular cycle.
Do you know next year, because I can't remember the calendar for next year because we approve these calendars now. 2 years out, are we on the split holidays for next year? But we're starting earlier, right? A little earlier. And next year, they will be getting out around Memorial Day weekend, right? Okay. Which will be the earliest that I can ever remember us getting out of school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
With no snow days.
Right. As long as we don't take any snow days.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay? None? Council passed. Administrative updates. Mr. White? Oh, Mr. Elwood.
The Freedom of Information request process, business was a little bit slow, which was good. We had 3 requests. One came from first students relative to the information for the current bid contract that's set to go out. The items are listed. You want to look at the current contract, current bid tallies, special ed bid contract, bus contract agreement, the special ed vendor, October 2010 invoices, the route pairing, bus utilization process, as well as activity and field trip invoices. This FOIA was completed within the timeline requested, and all information was sent to the requester via electronic delivery. The second one was from David Savier, dated 12/7, requested electronic communication regarding confidential personnel matter. This item was also completed December 10th, 2010. All requested information was sent electronically to the requester. The last one was a request made in December regarding the activity in and around our theater and performance productions by Alicia Mills of Chicago Voxiitis, Inc., which is a publication or a research entity that does research on schools and their theater programs and what have you, and they requested records of all performances of musical theater productions done by Crete Monee High School for the 2009-2010 and 2010-2011 school years. They also requested the total revenue in dollars for ticket sales for the 2009-2010 musicals. This request was completed in its entirety January 13, 2011. Due to requested extension by us, we completed that on, that was given on the 5th. We completed it on the 13th, 2011. All items were sent electronically. That concludes my report. Any questions?
Any old business?
think we forgot the
You forgot the
business
update, the
business
financial update.
I'm sorry. Business update? Second quarter financial update? Mr. Gross?
For the second quarter financial update, I presented this to the finance committee meeting, at the finance committee meeting. Basically, in summary, the highlights of the summary was that the state of Illinois, as of January 12th, owed our school district $3.1 million in FY11 funds that had not been sent to us yet. And after reviewing our actual results through 6 months of actuals, so half of the school year is over with so far, and all of our accounts are trending as budgeted. If you take what we spent so far and kind of forecast forward based on the rate of expenditures that we have, as of right now, it appears that all of our expenses should come in, as we budgeted for this year. So we're not over, we're not under, everything is going as budgeted in that FY11 legal budget. And part of that FY11 legal budget was that we did not anticipate to receive funds from the state so far this year, so that's why I can say that we're going as budgeted, even though we have not received $3.1 million in mandated categoricals from the state of Illinois.
Any questions?
From the mandate, which you just talked about, 3.1, actually, the state passed their tax increase, and that kind of thing, stuff, you see that being paid out in a reasonable amount of time, never, or what's your opinion on that?
There's a lot of uncertainty regarding that. I know there was a bill in addition to the state income tax increase to borrow funds to pay off Illinois vendors immediately, and that bill, I believe, did not pass. So I was disappointed when I saw that, because if that bill passed, we would receive this $3 million very soon. As far as how much of the 2% increase, or 66% increase in the state income tax, how much of that will eventually come to our district, I don't really have a good handle on that yet, and I have several meetings and conferences later this month with other business managers and ISO and PMA to kind of get a sense of what they think, how this will all pan out, and I'll update the board during that.
Any other questions? Any old business? Any new business?
Just two items. One is I'll be sending an email to the Education Committee, but we'll eventually post this on Board Book for all board members to read. We did have our first Education Committee, I believe it was last week. It was very successful. And there's a date already that we want to have the Ed Committee members look on their calendars and see if it's available, and that's May 25th or the 26th at 4 p.m. It's our usual end-of-the-year discipline report where all of the principals come together to talk about the year in discipline as far as to share data. So unless you can, after the meeting, if you can check your calendars and let me know tonight, if the 25th or the 26th works at 4 o'clock. Tom said it works either one for him, and I'll ask Nakia if the 25th or 26th, and I can let the administrators know tomorrow. If not, I'll wait until I can hear from both of you. We'll have other committee meetings. I just want to get this one on the book while we're planning our second semester calendar, and I just want to get all the dates from now till June that are important for the administrators to know about. And this is one that we do annually. The last piece that I had is the last high school oversight committee meeting that I attended. It was brought up by the board members that are members on that committee, which is President Sevier and members Kim Sanders, about the constitution of the oversight committee. There's a lot of people who have moved away, and we just don't have as many committee members as we used to have. And so we need to bring that committee back up to a more robust number. I know originally it was to have an equal amount of members from each community, and it ended up being 16 members. It was 4 from each community. And I think what we did in the past is just put out a broadcast over all 4 communities and all newsletters, both at the district level and at school level. We might have even done a mailing from the high school to encourage parents to indicate an interest. And they had to put just a very brief description as to why they wanted to serve. And then those names were brought to the board by way of recommendation as to who the members should be based on interest and what communities they were from. So if it's the board's pleasure that we follow the same process or procedure, I can do that, and I could put something out as early as the end of this month. And try to have a list for the board to approve by the February board meeting, or if you would like for me to do it a different way, you could tell me now and I can do it any kind of way that you want me to. But I do think we need to get more members on this committee.
I think doing that it's fine, and you can select the members, the 4 members of each community, and bring them to the board for approval after you go through the batches. But it's important that we do have representation from the communities and really have this committee intact, because this is one of the committees of the board. This is the committee that's supposed to help us come up with ideas to help move us off the state, off the watch. So it's very important that we have people involved in this committee who have some vision, some buy-in, and can give us some positive input to try to help us move this district forward academically, to try to get off that watch list. So we got the Bills and Board Committee. We want to make sure that we do have some impact from this standpoint.
And just what was discussing, we need to be sure that we make the selections very similar, applications make it clear.
Yes.
So business owners and anyone who want to come to the table, the door's open.
All right.
Any other questions? You don't need a closed session? Yes. Any need for a closed session?
No.
No.
Meeting, it was very informative, and some great ideas came out of the meeting, including having the board be updated
leadership there. Any other items? If not, motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Who wants to hire the same time as Sanders? All in favor?
Aye.
Didn't we pay for the road in Monee?
We paid for the road in Monee?
Yeah, we paid for that road.
We did.
Which one?
We paid for that in front of the Monee.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when you talk to him, say, hey, we paid for your road too. Now, if you want to give us back the money,
Well, that's true. That is true. So the first half of the road is in Monee. That's right.
We paid for that road too.
That's right. You're right.
I didn't want to get into an argument. Now,